just listening to the birds. Anyway, can spend a lot of time doing that. But here I am at another wee site to carry on with helping you identify the two main weeds that we are going to be going for on our Fridays in the Forest and our weed wrangling weekend. We've got about 15 weeds in the forest, but Darwin's barberry and Cotoneaster will be the main ones that we focus on. If you know your weeds, you can cut and paste other things, but if not, let me help you just learn how to identify these. So Cotoneaster, it's a beautiful garden plant. It can grow as a tree, but here it's a shrub, but they grow quite big, as you can see. This is actually quite a small one in terms of the thickness of its trunk. But here you see the leaves are sort of diagonally next to each other. It's quite a beautiful almond-shaped leaf, a sort of, I guess that's a dark green. And these, in the season, they have an orange berry on them, but we're not in season at the moment. Darwin's barberry, on the other hand, it's kind of like a holly, some sort of, but a smaller leaf. It's a little bit spiky. So if I take my gloves off, I mean, it's not like blackberry, but that is a little bit prickly, and they do look quite prickly. It's more of a waxy coloured, coated leaf, and they come out in sprigs of 3 generally, with this little spiky look on it. So I'm going to show you how to cut and paste them. You'll probably want to be wearing gloves, and you'll probably want to put your eye protection on. There's nothing worse than seeing where you're going there and getting a stick in the eye. I have done it before. I don't advise it. Here's my tools that I'm working with. I've got my secateurs in the back here, my loppers. Sometimes the trunks are thick enough to need a hand saw. Sometimes they're thick enough to need a chainsaw, but we won't be using those too much on our weekends. And then we want to paste it with the poison so that it does die. This is, I'm sorry to say, glyphosate, otherwise known as Roundup, or it's what Roundup's active ingredient is. We are using this in a very, very focused and concentrated way. We're not spraying everything, we're just putting it on the stump that we have just cut. So here, sometimes you have to kind of get in to a bit of stuff. I can see that my Cotoneaster stump is down there. I can reach it with my loppers, and it's quite an easy one to chop off there. I just chopped it off here. I'm going to immediately paste it. So best practice is to cut and paste straight away. And I put quite a big globule on there because I do want it to die. I'm going to show you another one so that we can get the good pictures. We're going to go over here a little bit. So if I can show you again. I'm fairly familiar with these plants, so I know what I'm going for. If I look down here, I'm going to make sure that it is the plant by checking the leaves. So this thing that I'm going to cut down here is actually my Darwin's barberry before I go cutting. It has happened that little lance woods or little other native trees get cut. Oh, that's a wee bit more difficult to
get through because I'm going through a couple at once. So as close to the ground as you can. You'll notice Darwin's barberry's got a real yellow inside, and then we give it some paste on there so that it doesn't grow back. After that, we're going to pull these out. It can be half of the fun. They've often get caught up with some of the native vines that we've got. And we're going to put these in piles so that they can get chipped and used for other things. So